Mysterious desert mummy. CT scan uncovers non-human organ. Salt, silence, and something impossible. The Atacama Desert sleeps under a sky so dry, scientists joke the stars cast shadows at noon. In 2003, nitrate miners probing a salt cave stumble on a bundle the size of a loaf of bread. Only, it's a mummy. Limbs contorted, skull elongated, 10 ribs instead of 12. Internet forums scream alien. Museums roll their eyes. 20 years later, a micro-CT scanner finally lifts the veil. And the truth is weirder than aliens. Stay until the 6-minute mark. You'll see an organ no modern primate should possess, frozen halfway through an evolutionary backflip. A cave that drinks corpses dry. We're in Chile's Pampa Camarones, 40 kilometers from the Pacific, 800 meters above sea level. Annual rainfall, 4 millimeters. Air humidity, under 7%. Salt crystals leach moisture faster than lab desiccators, turning flesh into parchment in weeks. Chinchorro fishermen mummified their dead here 7 millennia ago. Nature one-upped their taxidermy. The new find, nicknamed Ata C2, lies on a pedestal of halite, clothed in reed fiber, skin tanned the color of teak. X-rays taken in 2005 showed grotesque proportions, but their grainy blur answered nothing. Conspiracy blogs thrived. Peer review stalled. Why synchrotron CT matters, enter the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility. 38 petajoules of X-ray light fenced inside a kilometer-long ring. Resolution: 5 microns per voxel, enough to see red blood cell ghosts. Ata C2 is placed in a carbon fiber cradle, rotated 3,600 times, bombarded by photons, hotter than the sun's core, yet gentle on mummified tissue. 3 nights later, 14 terabytes of raw projections resolve into a 3D volume so crisp you can count collagen helices. A custom AI denoiser trained on papyrus scrolls strips salt halos from true soft tissue signals. Color maps isolate bone, ligament, vascular residue. And strangest of all, an encapsulated mass behind the sternum. It shouldn't be there. The system reruns the data. The anomaly persists. No scan error. Skeleton or fetus. Morphometrics come first. Cranial sutures are unfused. Epiphyseal plates open. Long bone length screams 28-week human fetus. Yet the skull extends 28% beyond normal. Rib count stops at 10. Pelvis angles verge on postnatal. This isn't a hoax. Growth patterns match developmental stress, not 1950s B-movie masks. Something rewrote the embryo's blueprint. First shock, the alien organ scroll sagittally. Nestled against the diaphragm sits a walnut-sized orb, thin-walled, vascularized, full of flake-like calcification. Segmentation reveals its own arterial feed, branching off the descending aorta. Histology via laser microbiopsy shows triple-layered membranes rich in alpha-fetoprotein, a chemical hallmark of yolk sac tissue normally lost by week 8 of gestation. To a seasoned anatomist, this isn't just unexpected, it's impossible. A fetus this age should show no sign of such a structure. Yet here it is, fossilized in salt, preserved in 3 dimensions. Experts debate: tumor? Vestigial remnant? Parasitic twin? None fit. Tumors don't branch arterially like this. Twins have their own spines. Evolution flashback? Maybe. But that raises a darker question. What reactivated this dormant code? Genetic time machine DNA capture nets 4.6 times nuclear coverage, 22 times mitochondrial. The nuclear genome is 100% Homo sapiens, but 8% expresses ancient HERV-K retroviral loci, dormant sequences from our Miocene ancestors. Gene activation toggled early embryo pathways, re-enabling a vestigial yolk sac structure. This isn't just junk code, it's developmental machinery, reawakened. Perhaps by infection, malnutrition, or stress. Eta-C2's biology may be more than a glitch. It may be a replayed ancestral instruction set. Some researchers now speculate that HER-VK and similar elements may function as internal archives, contingency blueprints for traits long thought lost. The salt coffin's role. Atacama's salt sealed the fetus within hours of maternal death, halting tissue breakdown right when HER-VK proteins peaked. Its evolutionary cryonics, a halfway mutation paused mid-script. Without this preservation, the yolk sac organ would have decayed, and the myth of aliens might have outlived the truth. New simulations suggest the organ began forming weeks before death. That means the trigger was prolonged, and likely affected more than one system. Eta-C2 might not be an anomaly, it might be a preview. A glimpse into pre-human anatomy. Comparisons with fossilized hominin embryos show similarities in vascular layout and yolk membrane patterns. Eta-C2 may echo a developmental path our lineage abandoned, but never deleted. Conversations in the genome epigeneticists now describe the genome not as a fixed script, but as a layered conversation. Sometimes ancient whispers can be heard. Eta-C2 is one of those echoes, a molecular stutter from deep time. Tracing the mother isotope analysis of hair, still braided 8 strands, shows maize C4 signatures identical to Chinchorro coastal diets, 6,000 years old. Maternal pelvic bones recovered nearby exhibit preeclampsia lesions. Hypothesis: fetal stress triggered HER-VK activation. The mother died delivering a genetically rewound child. Second shock: cartilage clock. False color CT reveals chondrocyte rings inside the yolk sac mass. Cartilage begins ossifying. Had the fetus reached term, the organ might calcify, crush lungs, kill the infant within days. Only preservation froze this impossible anatomy in situ. Round of debunking alien claims. Dead. Carbon-14 nails burial at 5,860 plus or minus 50 BP genetic chimera. Allele ratios refute. Parasitic twin? CT shows a single vertebral column. What we face is rarer. Viral-induced embryonic atavism. Developmental steps echoing deep evolutionary past. Medical goldmine. HER-VK reactivation parallels certain ovarian cancers. Studying Eta-C2's yolk sac could unlock tumor reversion therapies. Biotech labs already model its protein shell to deliver chemo drugs through placental barriers. A fetus that never drew breath might save lives 6,000 years later. Ethics and repatriation. Local Aymara communities call the mummy Chalwa-Wawa, fish child. Traders once sold its smaller twin, Eta-C1, to a Spanish collector. Legal battles rage to bring both home. The synchrotron team grants open access data, but agrees to return the remains for reburial in salt. Evolutionary lecture in a handspan. Hold your hand against the 3D print. 10 ribs, vestigial gill arch nerve routing, a yolk sac turned stone. It's as if evolution scribbled a margin note in chalk, then preservation lacquered it forever. Live VR autopsy developers port the voxel stack into Unreal Engine. Viewers in VR peel off skin layers, toggle HER-VK expression, watch the yolk sac pulse like a tiny amber lantern. Classrooms from Kansas to Kyoto now explore lost paths biology almost took. What if it happened today? Modern obstetric screens, fetal DNA at 10 weeks. A HER-VK triggered organ could be spotted, perhaps surgically removed in utero. Eta-C2 offers a medical rehearsal for conditions we haven't seen yet. Echoes of stars and salt. Imagine the mother's final night. Desert wind, panic, salt cave. Miners find her child millennia later and name it Alien. science listens, decodes, and hands the story back to her descendants. If a dormant virus can rewind our biology, imagine what 0.8 seconds inside a Pompeian CT scan reveals about a father's last heartbeat. Hit subscribe. Next week, we slow-motion autopsy Vesuvius. Open source science 3D models, RAWDICOM stacks, peptide sequences, linked below under Creative Commons. Download, remix, challenge. When evidence is free, superstition has nowhere to hide. Policy Ripple UNESCO drafts new desert site guidelines, mandatory micro-CT before export permits, indigenous consultation at each stage. ADA C2's echo shifts global heritage law. Future questions. Could Mars's perchlorate dust replicate Atacama mummification? Would Hirvique activate differently in microgravity? A fetal anomaly triggers off-world bioethics debates. Hold the printed yolk sac in your palm. It should never exist, and yet it does. A 6,000-year-old evolutionary mistake that became a treasure. Thank you for stepping into a salt crypt and back. On Fossil, we dig data from deep time, because the past isn't buried. It's paused, waiting for the next scan beam.